After only 5 months, The Dragon Prince is now returning to Netflix with its second season. That's right, Callum, Ezran, Rayla, and the rest of the gang are all coming back to continue their quest of bringing the Dragon Prince back to Zadia to prevent a war between the elves and the humans. Netflix has graciously given me a sneak peek of the new episodes so I can give you all the inside scoop before they drop on February 15th. What new surprises are in store, and how does it compare to the first season overall? I'm Hailey from Cartoonverse, and here's my spoiler-free review. This time around, I was lucky enough to get to see the whole season early, which means I won't have to make any assumptions about whether or not the final few episodes reflect the beginning of the season. And man, am I glad. There's no easier way to explain this season other than saying, I loved it. From the first few seconds, you can already see that there is an improvement in the animation quality. Season 1 used CG animation to emulate a 2D style. It was rather choppy and made a lot of viewers uncomfortable. The style itself is the same, however they allow the 3D elements to move more fluidly. As much as 2D emulation is an interesting concept, it is definitely an improvement to embrace its 3D style. Now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about the story. Picking up right where the last season ended, our heroes now have to try to get to Zadia with the newly hatched dragon, but our not quite antagonists Claudia and Soren have found out where they are and are beginning to close in on them. Additionally, their father Viren continues to be up to no good and may be causing trouble for the kingdom of Katalis while its true king, Ezran, is far away. And the story continues from there, all leading up to an awesome season finale that left me wanting more. The star of this season was definitely Callum, who goes through quite the identity crisis. The first season left him with no primal stone, which was his only source of doing magic. It was the first thing he ever was really good at, well, besides drawing, so it makes sense he wants to be a mage again. And this causes a lot of inner turmoil for him, which leads to many irrational decisions. But that doesn't mean other characters don't get their time to shine. Ezran faces the task of helping Zim become the dragon he is meant to be, but of course that is easier said than done because Ezran isn't one. And I was already in love with Zim last season from the few minutes that he was around, so seeing him once again was delightful. Rayla plays a part by being suspicious of Claudia and Soren, but Callum has known Claudia and Soren for most of his life, so who should he trust? And speaking of those two siblings, let's just say they make some startling choices that really made me realize that I did not know these characters all that well. I still love them though.
Kinda weird how the mirror did it right back at me, like it was putting me on notice.
As for Viren, he is still trying to act as a regent for Katalis, but his need for it to be ruled a certain way causes him to make some interesting decisions that are certain to have consequences. Every character changes in their own unique way this season, which I absolutely loved. We also get to know some characters that were only seen for a few scenes in the first season, such as Lujan and Corvus, as well as an occasional new character, all of which have unique personalities and awesome designs. There are a few characters I cannot wait to talk about with others, but I shall have to wait a little while longer sadly. As with last season, the visuals are beautifully done, and once again most episodes take place in different locations, which is no easy feat for a CG show. Also seeing new elves and dragons is a huge treat since the magical creatures are one of my favorite things about this show, and just in general the animation is great. Let me just say that there were so many questions answered this season. For fans wondering how magic worked as well as a few other things, you'll be very happy. But don't worry, there was just as many questions created as there were answered. At the center of those mysteries is an elf named Erebos that is sure to be a fan favorite. This season definitely pushes some boundaries and gets away with some things a Y7 show on television could not. And even though this sounds a bit weird, I love this. These moments were some of my favorites of the season because of the emotions they elicited. When it comes to watching shows, I will admit I never cry, but something this season left me so emotional that it hurts every time I watch that scene, and I even got a bit teary-eyed when I watched it the first time. I'm sure most of you will know what I mean when you see it. But there's a lot of violence this season, so adults watching with small children, this is your warning. I don't know how much more praise I could give this season without totally spoiling it, so let's talk about the few nitpicks I have. I feel like the show is still trying to get its footing with balancing jokes and serious moments. There are instances where the characters joked around when they definitely should have not been doing so. I will say that at least the puns this season were a lot funnier, and it is clear that the writers have a thing for outdated memes, for better or for worse.
More like the misstep, Prince.
Since each season only has 9 episodes and the cast is quite big already, don't expect every character from the first season to have a big part this time around. It's clear they are setting up bigger things to come, but there are some plot lines from the first season that were left relatively untouched. The show has always had to juggle multiple storylines, and for the most part every episode jumps back and forth between focusing on different characters. And while I never disliked this, I feel that continuing to do this could get messy in the future, especially with the growing cast of characters and only 9 episodes a season. Of course, all the characters could eventually meet up again, but the focus on Viren makes this hard since he is never really with the rest of the main cast. Despite these flaws, it is very easy for me to recommend this season, especially if you have seen the first one. If you haven't seen season 1, what are you doing? Go watch it! And speaking of watching, MYKAL actually watched the episodes this time around before the season came out, so I thought it'd be fun for him to say a few words concerning his thoughts on the season before I end this video. Take it away, MYKAL.
This season was definitely a great one. If you watched the first season and were at all concerned for a sophomore slump, rest assured there was no sophomore slump. If you're an animation fan like us and you like story-driven shows, you may find that many cartoons these days give you lore and main plot in breadcrumbs, or at the very least start off that way until later on in the series. And while this is fine for the most part, it can be done well. It is very, very refreshing to see Dragon Prince do the opposite and dive right into everything. Sure, they did this last season, but it's nice to see that they're keeping up with the real adventure, and it involves a legitimate journey that allows us to get to know all the characters on a deeper level, but also throws in its share of world building pretty consistently. It never leaves you in the dark for too long, but they also don't spend all of their savings at once, if that makes sense. It's a really nice balance, not too rushed, but also not too much of a drought. Also want to give a shout out to the comedy in season 2. It seems like the jokes were even further improved upon from last season. There were quite a few moments in particular where I laughed out loud, and I'm sure you'll find exactly which moments I'm talking about once you actually watch it for yourself. But yeah, Hailey pretty much covered everything else that I want to talk about, so I'm just gonna put her back on. Just gonna put her back on the phone. One second.
Thank you, MYKAL. That was very insightful. So as I was saying, as all second seasons should do, the stakes are raised, the characters are more fleshed out, and the mysteries grow deeper. For only being 18 episodes in, I am very impressed with the show. If it keeps this quality up, it is sure to gain a big following and could very well become a classic. I'm really looking forward to the video game that takes place in the same world as the Dragon Prince, as well as anything else Wonderstorm creates. But that wraps up this review, so I hope you enjoyed it. For those that are watching this after the season aired, let me know what you thought of it. Did you laugh, cry, or anything in between? Tell me in the comments section below. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Please feel free to check out the rest of my reviews. These include She-Ra, Castlevania, Carmen Sandiego, and of course the first season of The Dragon Prince. I'm also planning on revamping our Patreon, for where I add a tier for you to suggest a video for a much cheaper price than before. Give me to review any upcoming Netflix show or any old favorite you'd like me to see. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching and have an animated day.